Hi, this is my default service and product review disclaimer video. Many people appreciate my reviews because I am objective and go into all the details, including all the pros and cons. Even if companies offer money for reviews, that is something that's non-negotiable. I must always provide all the information that I can figure out and take the time to go into every detail. However, there are some catches that I wish to discuss further, hoping that some of you probably know them already. I just want to clarify that I'm aware of them, that I also take those into consideration. And for those who are not aware of it, this should help you avoid some pitfalls and get less likely to be swindled out of your hard-earned money. So these are the bullet talking points that I'll be covering today. The first thing, of course, this goes for practically every product and even service, and everything is moving towards that trend. Let us begin what I mean about that. There are three things. First thing is the trend of moving everything online and to subscriptions. Sorry, English is not my native. The second is one step forward, two steps back, or fake progress. We'll discuss that. And the myth of future-proofing. So let's start one by one with some concrete examples to show exactly what I mean and what I'm talking about. The first thing is the trend of moving everything online, and for that I have a perfect example. This is an older angle grinder. Again, nothing against Bosch as a company. This is present in all the areas. So this older model has a button that lets me work everything that I need in terms of configuring this tool. So it cycles from lowest to medium to highest speed. And that's, as far as angle grinder is concerned, all that I need. It does have an option of installing a Bluetooth module, but that is optional. I haven't bought it, I haven't installed it, and I don't need it. In this case, that is just something that will give me additional information about how many times the kickback control has been activated and working hours and things like that, but it is not essential for using the tool. However, a tool that I brought a few years later already has built-in Bluetooth, so it's not optional, and here it has option that lets me select the factory default auto mode. That gives me the maximum number of RPMs, revolutions per minute, when I depress the button completely. And when I click it next time, it gives me this favorite mode, and that is something that I must configure by connecting this tool to a smartphone using Bosch application. And so if I want to cycle through 3 speed modes, I cannot do it without using a phone and reconfiguring it on the job site, which can be tricky or even borderline dangerous. If I'm working with gloves now, do I remove gloves to adjust my phone and things like that? Or so something that I don't like right from the start in terms of function, and also having a Bluetooth and being connected to a phone app leaves me open to some things that manufacturers like BMW, so that's a different German manufacturer, have done, and that is to you buy something and they sell you a subscription monthly or annually for some things that are already built into the product. BMW did that for seat heaters, if memory serves me, so you had to pay something extra to be able to activate the seat heaters that are already in the car that you bought and paid for. And again, it's only a matter of time, and it's a trend that I've noticed that all the manufacturers are moving towards. That is to make you sure you're connected so they can track your data, sell your data. Your data is at risk anyway with that, and also have some sort of remote updates and control, and maybe even features. Again, I cannot say that that is likely to happen with this drill, but it is a general trend that I've noticed and that I am aware of, and I think you should be too. So The online, all online and subscription, not for our good or for convenience. That is just how they sell it to us. Next thing is fake progress. For that, I don't have an example at hand, but I was looking at Sony camera for YouTube model ZV/E10 Mark II, Model 2. Now the first model, that was the first one that that sort of caught my eye, and I was looking at it, looking at the specs and feedback from users, and so it had some downsides, and the newer model, Sony fixed many of those downsides. I have an article on my website that is in more detail. I'll put a link to it, and you can read it. In here I'll just show some things, and this discuss the high points. So with that digression aside, the newer model had a better battery life and a better sensor, and so many things improved. But the downside, what they did is that they removed the picture stabilization from the camera, and that camera is generally marketed and sold to people like me who shoot out of hand, like YouTube videos and vlogging and so on. And so that's in my opinion a big downside, and I don't see any reason for making that thing, for cutting that option, apart from opening option to make Mark III model and say, hey, we improved this. So they make something improved, then they make a new model where they make something worse and improve other downsides that people notice, and it goes mostly very often back and forth, not just gradually removing all the problems and downsides and fixing everything that can objectively be fixed. Quite the contrary. And I have noticed this in many things related to electronics, computers, and so on. The fake progress, the practically by design deliberate removing of some cool features or breaking down some things so that they can always make us feel like we need to chase features, and that the product that we have is never really well designed, well thought out. There's always something, oh, we missed this, well, it's a bug. That leads us to the third future-proofing point. Future is very unpredictable by definition, and otherwise I would probably be a rich guy and making millions out of betting or whatever similar, going to the stock market and things like that. So it's very unpredictable, and so already it's difficult. But manufacturers are hiring very smart, capable people with big budgets to make sure that the products that they sell to us today will feel like they're liking and will ideally not even work, or not, you won't be able to repair them in a remotely reasonable and cost-effective way in the very near future, because they want to make us keep buying. So when you are trying to do future proofing, you are not just fighting against the naturally unpredictable future, but you are also fighting on top of that with the deliberate plans of manufacturers, because they need to keep selling things. And in practice, future proofing is just a marketing tool that companies use to use your fear and make you spend more money than you absolutely must for the things that you need at a given time. And you can be sure that in most areas, at least, especially for the things that are within my area of expertise, I can say that future proofing is basically a waste of money and that you can never future proof. That does not mean that you should not get some sort of reasonable reserve. For example, if I know that I will need to be drilling holes that are 10 millimeters in diameter when I do concrete walls, mounting and everything, I usually carry a 12 millimeter drill as well, and 12 millimeters dowels, and make sure that my drill can also drill 12 millimeters just in case something goes wrong. I need to use the same place, but the hole got damaged in some way, and so I need to drill a larger diameter. So some reasonable reserve is okay, but trying to be absolutely future proof is nonsense, and it's never going to work. And I will, again, this video is not about any particular manufacturer. I'm just using concrete examples to demonstrate a point that is universal. In fact, to be really fair, I don't like injustice. The manufacturers that I'm using today as example are manufacturers that are among the not worst offenders. That's fair to say. And now to bash them a bit more, I will take example of ProCore Plus. So what Bosch did, they gave program of 18 volt batteries for their power tools, and that was all very nice and good. And then they made ProCore batteries. These batteries have a bit higher quality cells, newer models that really are better, and they also have a very good insulation of every cell inside. I will try to put a photo of what that looks like for the ProCore batteries, but it's all encased, every single battery cell is encased into heat conducting plastic to make sure that the heat is dispersed better. So when I take this battery, it's outside, it's hotter than this one, but that's not because it runs hotter, but because it transfers heat outside so that it cools better, and batteries last longer and don't degrade as much. So that's a great thing. At the same time, Bosch went all in on their 18 volt models and cut back on development of 36 volt power tools for the battery run stuff. And the big marketing thing was that you can run all on just one model of batteries and chargers and it's all good, which of course has its pros. However, I have a video explaining the electricity, power, current and how those are related, and also a video about batteries. I'll make sure to link those in the video's description for those who wish to understand how and why exactly. But the point is that higher power tools need to draw more current if you don't increase the voltage. So for the high power tools like some big powerful saws for wood or electric cutters and things like that, there is a problem of these batteries, even the ones that have 2 stacks of batteries like this 8 ampere hour battery, that need to distribute a huge amount of current, and that creates problems with heating wires and things like that. So Bosch now is publishing ProCore Plus model, which I don't have, that costs an arm and a leg, and they are marketing it as a special type of cells used inside that can provide even more current, but I'm not sure and I'm not really convinced that those are going to be very durable, especially if you use them in high power tools. And the way that Bosch also is trying to make a workaround that is to use 2 batteries tied in together so that the powerful tools can get a bit more current without using too much from one single battery. I am yet to confirm if they use them in line or in parallel. If they use them in line, so the voltage would add up and that would create lower current, and it would be probably a more reasonable way to do it, but I'm not sure how it's implemented inside those tools. But either way, we're trying to sell you this model, this platform. It's future proof, they're sticking by it, but I can already see, and that was obvious even when I was years ago making those videos that I mentioned, that really high power tools will need higher voltages. There's only so much water you can put into 1 liter bottle. It's reaching a physical limit, and it's only a matter of time before we get the next best thing, and that is going back to high voltage batteries. Some manufacturers have also gone that route, and back and forth a bit is what I'm seeing now. And so I'm not sure, I hope this is all clear enough what I'm trying to convey with some examples, but we cannot know what the future brings, and the best you can do is to get stuff for what you are likely to be needing and what you need right now, and that's it. So whenever I do tool reviews, I have all that in mind, and I will not explicitly be stating it in every video. That's why I bothered to make this video. Just want to make that clear. So when I'm saying that something is good, that means based on all the other options that are available for that or similar price and for that or similar jobs. That's nothing more, nothing less. I am aware of all the marketing tricks and all the practical and technical limitations, and I take all those into considerations when I'm assessing the quality of a given tool. So that's something to always keep in mind. And how do I say, I hope that this video along with the article that I wrote does help you not avoid getting screwed, because we cannot, but to at least not be damaged really badly, just as little as necessary. That's the whole video. Thank you very much if you sat through this. If you like what I'm doing, you can subscribe. You don't need to subscribe to. You can bookmark BikeGremlin.com website, where you can use a searchable index of all my videos. Subscribing is pointless. YouTube will not show you my new videos, and the same goes for my articles. You must go to my website and use the search option there to find it. How and why exactly, I have also written articles and made videos discussing that. And if you have any questions or comments, I also made the video why YouTube comments are pointless. So please use the BikeGremlin.net forum for any questions or comments. And if you wish to support my work, you can go to patreon.com/BikeGremlin and set aside the monthly amount that works for you, or you can go to bike.bikegremlin.com/support page. I'll maybe link to it in the video's description if I don't forget. So there I've listed some options that you can use for one-time donations. Some people have asked about that, so that's the least I can do, and I appreciate the goodwill. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in some other video. Cheers, stay cool.